Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. Today we're going to take a look of another Chieftronic by Chieftec case. This is the M1 microATX case, which also supports, of course, mini ITX motherboards, not only microATX. So it kind of is a different concept than we had so far on the channel, and you basically lay down your motherboard flat and the GPU is running vertically. But if you take a look at it closely, if you flip the motherboard, normally the GPU stands like this, like in any other normal situation. So we have three-side tempered glass, which is outstanding because you can check out your parts from each side and from the top, and the front acts like an intake. It's basically just flipped around case with the same combination of fans, but you don't have any extra outtake on the top. Also right here we have the Chieftronic Nova NF1225 RGB, basically addressable RGB fans, which will go inside, and later on you'll have them as a giveaway on my Instagram profile. So let's check it out. You have basically everything is with thumb screws, so each side, and I mean literally side, is with thumb screws, so you have to remove two of them on each side, and when you remove the thumb screws you just slide the tempered glass. As you can see, the tempered glass actually has a bottom part cover to cover up all the mess going with the cables, which is really cool. And the same thing goes with this side panel as well, so quite easy, there's nothing difficult. And this bottom part right here, as you can see, it's steel, and the complete part on the side that you're looking at is tempered glass. So they managed to do something cool just for the sake of hiding those cables if you really want to make something quite nice at the top and have a nice design. Now when it comes to this side on top, you can't basically remove it because it's, I would say not soldered, but it's fixed on top. But the front panel of course could be removed. You just have those annoying crocodile clips, and I'm not saying anything against Chieftronic, I'm just saying in general, for me they're quite annoying. Now when you remove it, you have the I/O ports right here on the side and all the cables going through the chassis, and the possibility to access the brackets for the mounting of your either fans or the radiator. Now in front you can place two 120mm fans or two 140mm fans, or you could go with an AIO and place 240, 280, or even 120 or 140, even though I don't see any sense of placing a 120 or 140, since it would look quite nice to have a full radiator here. And the cool thing about it is that since the bottom is really lower than the whole top of the radiator, you can place the pipes on top without any issues when it comes to extra air inside the AIO, and you don't have to worry for the pump getting air inside and eventually getting broke. Now here at the bottom, at the, let's call it power supply shroud, even though it's more than that, you have loads of space and loads of potential for everything. You get, of course, the user manual. You get two hard drive brackets which can also accommodate, and these are a bit extendable, so when you place your hard drive you can slide them out, place your hard drive, put them back in. You can place your 2.5-inch SSD in both of those, and in one you can find the accessory box. This is actually a good example. So for instance, this is a hard drive. You want to remove it, you don't have to bend the plastic, you just slide it out, take the hard drive out, put the plastic back in, and that's it. Now let's check this side. For instance, you have two additional brackets right here, and I'm not quite sure if this could be used for 2.5-inch SSDs, but as you can see, there's a mess of cables right here, and of course they can be nicely arranged because you have loads of holes right here at the top. but you get an additional controller for your RGB, and it's magnetically here connected, so you don't have to use any double-sided tape or anything similar to that. We can connect here fans up to 6 of them with a specific connector that Chieftec fans actually have. You have the power, which is SATA. You have the switch that you have here connected, and this is motherboard in. So in some cases you usually have the USB 2.0 going directly to your motherboard, and then you can control it through software. I don't see any USB 2.0 here. And you have 2 LED strips possibility, which are addressable RGB. So apparently you have it here on the front panel, and you have it on the fan right there. Also color mode, slow, fast, you can adjust everything through the controller. As stated, this is quite an interesting case just because it gives you a bit of a diversity from standard cases. It is a bit bulky, I do have to admit, but when it comes to storage, nice cable, really nice cable management. You have loads of space in the bottom of the chassis, and you can do wonders here. So without further ado, let's place a build inside and check out more of this case. Before we start with the thermals and everything else, I have to point out some key features that this case has that I skipped at the beginning. First of all, with the controller you get a remote, so you can adjust the speed of the RGB, mode of the RGB, speed of your fans. You have additional colors here, and you can go with single colors, RGB or whatever. And this is all thanks to their fans that have 6 or 7, 8 pins or something like that you connect to your controller. The controller doesn't actually have addressable RGB header. That was for the 2 LED strips on front, which are separated. Now, when we're talking about the case inside, when we're talking about the power supply shroud, this part right here can be completely removed. But as you can see, if you try to hide your cable, since I went with the custom sleeved extenders, you kind of get all of this in your hard drive cage. So this is something that you can decide what you're going to do, and basically that's it. You can either hide it, but if you place your tempered glass, it won't be seen. One more thing, the PCI Express brackets right here at the back, you have 4 of them, so you can actually place a thicker card. But honestly, considering the temperatures that I got with the RX 6800 XT and the 5900X processor, you might consider going with the 2-slot card and a weaker CPU. Now, what's the thing? The tempered glass, really cool design, I have to admit, but the intake isn't that great for a higher tier processor or an even higher tier graphic card. So with the tempered glass and everything closed up, it could really go up with the temperatures when we're talking about these components inside. So the processor went up to 74 on average with the full load on AIDA 64 Extreme Edition, and the GPU went somewhere around 80 Celsius degrees. Imagine you go with a 3-slot graphic card, which is really close then to your tempered glass right here. The temperatures would be much higher without a doubt. So I would suggest somewhere in up to mid-range processor and a mid-range graphic card. The thing is, I placed an AIO 240 on front, and you do have to wiggle a bit in front just to place the radiator and the fans inside, because it's really tight spot, and I don't think you could go any thicker than the 5 centimeters, combining the 2.5 centimeters radiator and 2.5 centimeters of the fans, unless you remove this whole bracket right here. But that's another thing, and definitely something to discuss. The temperatures are quite high. The CPU is quite alright, since we're talking about 5900X, but when we're talking about the GPU, if I pushed it a bit further, I think both of those components would go even more up. Well, I forgot to mention the I/O ports. So you have two 3.5mm jacks. One is for your microphone and one is for your headset. You have two USB 2.0, two USB 3.0, LED button for your RGB, and you have your power on button. The concept is incredible. I really love the design and everything with the M1 case, but when it comes to temperatures, I would prefer if they opened the front a bit more and placed something on top, even though everything is seen from three sides. Placing I don't know, 4 fans on top would be really awesome for a better exhaust, and placing 4 fans on front somehow, I don't know, it could be done on front to give better intake. This way you could manage maybe, if it's possible, 240mm radiator on front and just fans at the top for an exhaust, since I don't think you could manage a liquid cooling custom loop inside, but all in all, I think this is it. So guys, yeah, interesting case, interesting design, and up to mid-range build. Don't go with a high-end build because it will, you heard the temperatures, you know everything. In any case, if you're really running on a low or mid-range build, you can check out the links below for the Chieftronic by Chieftec M1 microATX case with more information, price, and everything you need to know. If you like the content, don't forget to subscribe, click the thumbs up button, hit the notification bell for future videos and content, and hopefully I will see you in another one. Thanks for watching again, and bye bye.